It's time for another edition of Mets Musings.
Hi, this is Ron Darling. This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings, and Happy New Year as we are well into 2022. You probably wondered what happened to me, but not a lot going on as far as baseball or the New York Mets. They've made some announcements, and we'll get to that in a sec. But we are back, and it is 2022, a new year. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday, safe and healthy holiday. We are still in the middle of the Omicron pandemic, I guess you could call it, epidemic, though people aren't getting as sick as they were with the original COVID and the Delta variant. But nonetheless, a lot of people testing positive and having some effects of the COVID. So stay safe, stay healthy. I'm staying in the house. I don't like the cold, and it's bitter cold out there. So I'm staying in for now. But let's, since last we were together, Obviously, some Mets news. They hired a manager, Buck Showalter. Everybody's favorite pick, Buck Showalter. Good pick for the Mets. He's 65 years old, but I think he'll give them the experience that they needed. They needed a veteran manager this time around. Somebody that's got a track record. Somebody that's, can handle the New York press. He's been in New York before. So good choice in Buck Showalter. And as the lockout continues, Buck and Billy Epler and Steve Cohen have been busy at work looking for coaches, interviewing coaches, and while they have not formally announced any coaches yet, they have contacted, and looks like they're going to hire, and it looks like their coaching staff is almost completely filled. There's a couple of spots yet, and that's what they're waiting for, an assistant hitting coach, assistant pitching coach. They have to hire, and a bench coach too, which is important. And we'll talk about that in a sec. But it looks like Joey Cora will be the third base coach. Brother of Alex Cora, manager of the Red Sox. Wayne Kirby will be the first base coach. He worked with Showalter for a number of years in Baltimore, so they know one another. Worked the last couple of seasons in San Diego as the first base coach and outfield coach, I believe. So Wayne Kirby will be in the fold. Eric Chavez is going to be the hitting coach. An interesting story. He signed with the Yankees a week before the Mets got a hold of him, and as the assistant hitting coach, and the Mets came along, made him the hitting coach, and he took the job. So Mets stole him away from the Yankees, so that's a good sign. Always a good thing when the Mets can steal something from the Yankees. So, so that, and of course, Jeremy Hefner is the holdover from the previous administration. But everybody likes him and likes the job he did, so don't see a problem there. And the pitchers all know him, so, it's not a bad pick there. So those are intact. As I said, now the main thing they're looking for now is the bench coach. That would be the first overall uh, body that you want to get in here. And it looks by some of the names that have leaked that they're looking for a younger guy, maybe a more analytic, understanding or driven guy than Showalter. That was the knock on Showalter, that he wasn't analytic driven. He didn't like it. He dispelled those rumors, and but he's the type of guy where he thinks there's a place for everything, and I kind of agree with him. There is a place for analytics, but there's also a place for your gut in a game. That's why you hire an experienced manager, seasoned manager who's seen it all. So, but it doesn't hurt to have as his bench coach advising him somebody that's very fluid in analytics, and it looks that's the direction. And a younger guy. If Showalter at the end of his contract, maybe he wants to retire. He'll be 68, 69 when his contract ends up. I believe he got a 3-year deal. I could be wrong about that, but let's say he got a 3-year deal. He's got somebody to hand it off to, hopefully. So we'll see. And again, the assistant hitting coach and the assistant pitching coach still has to be named as well. And once they get them all in place, I think you will see a mass introduction to the public. So for now, nothing is official, but that's what's going on there. And the minor league managers were named for the 2022 season, and they look like this. AAA Syracuse Mets will have Kevin Bowles as their manager. AA Binghamton Rumble Ponies will have Reed Brignac as their manager. The High A Brooklyn Cyclones will have Luis Rivera as their manager. He's been in the Mets system. Low A is St. Lucie is going to be managed by Robbie Robertson. So those are the minor league managers for 2022, and we'll see what that all rolls out, if we even have a 2022 season. It's there doesn't seem to be a great urgency at this particular time by the players or the owners. They did say they're going to negotiate on Thursday. There is a bargaining session apparently scheduled. We'll see if anything comes out with it. But, the players' union has turned down everything that the owners have suggested so far. And they've made some decent suggestions, but the players want less time on free agency, more money, higher tax rates, a higher ceiling, or whatever they call it, for the before the tax thing kicks in, and they want a minimum payroll, so nobody can pay less money. The owners, they can get all this money from the pool and then not put it back into the team on the field. So we shall see. It doesn't seem to be an urgency, though, on either side. That concerns me. We are in January 12th. We are literally a month away from spring training. And do they think that they're going to be able to solve this by spring training? And then it's going to be frantic between the free agents that are left. There's some big names still out there. Between them, between trades that people may want to make, It's going to be a hectic time and a hectic spring training. So we'll see what happens. Now let's take a quick break and be back right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a PhD in life through baseball? Welcome to Baseball PhD, a tour company for your brain. 30 major league teams, 100 places to see. Let's touch them all as we make the road trip of a lifetime.
Follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/MetsMusings, on Twitter at MetsMusingsGM, the Instagram is MetsMusings, and on YouTube at MetsMusings Mack. Wish to be a part of the show? Give us a call at 516-619-6341. Okay, and we're back. And here's some news that just broke yesterday. The Mets are going to retire number 17, Keith Hernandez. Yes, lefty is number, the Max. His number will be retired next year during a ceremony on Saturday, July 9th, prior to a game with the Marlins. That is, again, provided that we have a July 9th game. We may, hopefully, to have it settled by then, the strike or the lockout, but one never knows with the way this whole thing operates. So, but Keith Hernandez, number 17, to be retired. Now, of course, there are other numbers people are saying should be retired, but you want to get like the Yankees and have like everybody retired or not. But the obvious choices coming up, or that people believe should be retired, are, of course, David Wright, number 5, and a lot of speculation about Gary Carter's number being retired, number 8. And I've seen Dwight Gooden, 18 Strawberry. What's your thoughts on that? Drop me an email and let me know what you think, or who else's number should be retired. Out of those, I would think David Wright. Yes, I can see complete career here. Should have played longer, but the injuries got to him. And really was on par for a stellar career, possibly a Hall of Fame career, Cooperstown. But that got derailed by the back injury. So, but we could see why David Wright, the captain for so many years, should be retired, number 5. Number 8, Gary Carter. Some people say, well, he wasn't here that long, but the impact that he made on this team was, phenomenal. And one of the reasons, if not the reason, they won the World Series in '86. So that's something to put into consideration. What about an Ed Kranepool? What about number 7, Ed Kranepool? I mean, he was here at the beginning in '62. He played for 18 seasons. Played his whole career here. Had a lot of the Mets offensive records before David Wright and Jose Reyes came along. Still holds 1 or 2 offensive records, all-time records of the Mets. Would you consider him going in? He's in the Mets Hall of Fame, but would you retire the number? Or would you retire it for Jose Reyes? Do a combined thing. That's something to consider as well. I think the Jose Reyes part of it hurts because he left the team for essentially money and came back, was not the same player, but he did leave, so sometimes that'll cast aspersions on him or whatever. And but was he that important? Yes and no. Did he make that big an impact? Definitely. But it's all speculation, and it's who the fans want a lot of times as well. But there's another name, Eddie Kranepool and Jose Reyes, two more names. Throw that in for number 7. So, there's lots of guys you could consider, but are they worthy of it? I mean, it's, when you're putting their number up there with a Seaver and a Hodges and, Piazza, that's 3 Hall of Famers right there. Gee, that's nice to say that about Gil Hodges, isn't it? 3 Hall of Famers right there that the Mets have retired numbers on. 4. Casey Stenkel's in the Hall of Fame. So, in 36, Jerry Koosman, great pitcher. So, but that's the speculation now I saw on social media. And again, they had 4 names on one site that they had picked, and it was, what I said, Wright, Carter, 3 others, I should say, Gooden, and I think the 4th might have been Strawberry. So, lots to argue about there, and, drop me an email or a voicemail, let me know what you think. And we're going to close on this. Zach Scott, the former acting general manager of the New York Mets, was found not guilty in his DWI case that had led to his firing from the Mets after a tenure of less than 1 year. He was reportedly, Scott was, ordered to pay 2 fines for traffic violations in the case. The verdict had been delayed as a result of Scott testing positive for COVID-19 in mid-December. The verdict came weeks after Scott's trial on several drinking and driving charges. During their trial, Scott's lawyer reportedly argued he had not failed the standard test field sobriety test administered by police, and the evidence from the police body cam footage also reportedly did not reflect the idea that he was intoxicated. So, we'll never know. We're never going to know. But he did, he was found not guilty, and what he was guilty of, the traffic violations, he paid the fines for. So, that's all the news we've got so far. I ask you to subscribe and go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the like button. It makes the people at YouTube, the analytic people, very happy. Makes me happy as well. And wherever you listen to or watch the podcast, hit the subscribe button so you always know when a new edition of Mets Musings is coming out. Haven't decided yet whether it's going to be weekly. With the winter and the lockout, not a lot to talk about, but we'll try to get out an episode whenever there is something of any importance to the New York Mets, and we'll see again if it'll be weekly or whatever. But wanted to get an episode out and to wish everybody a happy new year, and let's look forward to 2022. So until next time, remember to keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets. And I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.